Test. It's been a while, but we're back. I I honestly think I'm back and I'm way better than I was since the last time I recorded. And all praise to God because He's just so good. He is so, so good. I won't get into a lot of the details of it, but I'm just grateful, grateful for Him. Because if it wasn't for Jesus and who He has revealed Himself to me as, I would not be here. I would not have a voice, and I would not have had the strength to continue to do this and to walk on this journey with all of you. So I thank God, and I thank every single one of you that listens to this podcast, because with your encouragement, your prayers, your comments, your side conversations, with every single person that has talked to me in person, I thank God for every single one of you, because it is in those moments that I realize that my life is not my own. My life is truly for others and in service of others. And it's a privilege and it's an honor to be somebody that can serve God by serving people. And I love every single one of you that I am able to pour into, able to encourage, and able to help catapult towards your purpose. I love you, and I can't wait to share what episode 5 will be all about today. Woo! Today's gonna be deep. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mount Fatima Podcast with your host, Fatima. I am happy to see you again. If you have been subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing and supporting every single one of the episodes that have been a part of our season 1 here at the podcast. The Mount Fatima Podcast is a safe haven where I and others share God-defining moments from our personal lives, career, and culture in order to inspire, to encourage, and to catapult you into your God-given purpose. So I thank every single one of you that has been tuning in, and I just am super happy to be back. I haven't filmed in a while. The first 4 episodes were actually pre-recorded before I published them, and today I'm actually filming and publishing as soon as I end recording, obviously with edits and stuff. But I am in such a better place than I was at when I first recorded the first 4 episodes. Those first 4 episodes mean so much to me because I did them by faith. I did them with fear still in me. And now that I have seen the impact, that I have seen how words and how sharing our testimonies and our life stories really impact other people, I am fueled and I am excited to continue to do this with all of you. So again, thank you for joining me in this journey as I fulfill my purpose. And I pray that as you join me in mine, that you are encouraged in your own, so that way you achieve everything that God wants you to do here on earth. Okay, so before I get to this episode, I wanted to share a little bit of what inspired this episode. Now, before I began to film the podcast and to produce it, I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. Now, you guys know that the theme of the first season is created for the greater. And I believe that that's something that is going to be part of my life message. So I wanted to set the tone for everybody that wants to join along with me. That way you guys know the type of mindset that I have. I don't settle for less. I don't believe in staying in the status quo. I believe that God has called us to do greater works here on earth because He went back to be with the Father. So because of that, we're going to do greater and greater and greater things. So what inspired this episode and what confirmed the outline that I had for season 1 was I was actually doing research on social media trends that are happening in 2024. If you didn't know, I am a content creator at heart and for work. So I do that every single day. I create content for clients. I create content for myself. I just create content because I love it. I believe in media that is purposeful and that is overall helping the society be better. So I was doing research on YouTube, of course, and I came across this video where somebody was sharing more about what they think is going to expand your growth and expand your following on your social media platforms. So I was curious and I clicked on the video. Now, before I clicked on the video, the main reason, I'm not going to lie to you, the main reason why I clicked on the video is because the thumbnail had somebody on it. And I was like, this person looks really familiar. So I'm like, wait, is this who I think it is? So I clicked on it and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it dawns upon me that it is the person that I thought it was. And the reason why I know this person is because I think it was when I first moved to LA. In 2018, I was in a very interesting season of my life. And, I was trying to connect with other creatives on social media. Side tangent. One thing about me is I love to connect with people on social media because, again, I live and breathe social media for everything. And I believe that it can be used in a purposeful way. So that's why I really love it. So anyways, I connected with this person. And of course, yes, it was a guy. So I connected with this person, we're like commenting on each other's stories, whatever. And eventually we get each other's numbers. Nothing happened. But what I enjoyed about him and in watching his journey was that he was in a very similar position that I was in, which was like trying to figure out what was next for both of our lives. And at the same time, I could tell that he was going to be like somebody great. Somebody that was going to be really good with social media because we were both pushing our own pages. Now, fast forward to this last week, I see him teaching a class about what to expect for social media trends in 2024. And he was teaching people how to hone in into their target audience, how to hone in into your voice, and all these things that matter whenever you have a social media presence. And I was very happy for him because all this time I knew that he was going to be somebody great in the marketing and social media world. And now that he's actually teaching other people on how to be great in social media, it was just really cool to see. With that being said, I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to talk about next in episode 5. And today I want to talk about the creative disruptor and the faith innovator. I know it sounds kind of like a very big idea, but it's more simple than that. A creative disruptor is somebody that finds ways to improve something in order to better humanity. It is somebody that has ideas, not just for themselves, but for other people to make their life easier. A creative disruptor is somebody that thinks further ahead than just the now. It was really interesting because I feel like I'm that type of person. I don't fit into the status quo of things. I refuse to settle for anything less than the greatest thing that God has given me to do. And I also want to talk about how this has been happening since the beginning of time. Usually, I don't bring my Bible on my podcast. Like, I haven't brought it, in previous episodes. But today, I felt led to do so because the story of Noah is something that has been teaching me a lot recently. I read the story of Noah after I watched that video. And it convicted me because the creative disruptor is somebody that is not just thinking of others, but they are thinking of others ahead, I want to read the story of Noah because when you listen to it, or when I listened to it last time that I read it, it was very, very, very convicting. It has given me another level of fire and fuel to continue to walk out my life by faith and not by sight. So I want to read the story of Noah, and it is in chapter 6. We'll start at verse 1, actually. Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful. And they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh. Yet his days shall be done 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, those were mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Doesn't that sound like today? Woo! Nothing's new under the sun. Anyway, verse 6. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. If you're a creative disruptor, know that you have found grace in the eyes of the Lord. When you have solutions for people and generations ahead, you have found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Verse 9. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. Then, this is where it gets good. And God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of copper wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and outside with pitch. And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it into a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh, in which the breath of life, everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of the birds after their kind, of the animals after their kind, and of every creeping thing on the earth after its kind, 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourself of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it for yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. Thus Noah did according to all that God commanded him, so he did. Now, obviously, we know that after that, Noah began to work on the ark. Actually, let me keep reading. It gets good. Then the Lord said to Noah, Come into the ark, and you and your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 of each clean animal, a male and female, 2 each of animals that are unclean, a male and his female. Also 7 of each birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of the earth. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. I'm getting excited, y'all. Okay, let me keep going. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. So Noah, with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth. 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, on that day all fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. Then they and every beast after his kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah 2 by 2, all flesh, in which is the breath of life. So those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Now the flood was on the earth 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved on about the surface of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life, all that was on the dry land died. So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, both man and cattle, creeping thing, and bird of the air. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive. And the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. So as we know, eventually, the waters receded, and they got out, and the earth was saved because of one man's decision to obey God. Now, Noah is the ultimate creative disruptor, to me at least right now. I mean, obviously we find so many characters in the Bible that are creative disruptors, faith innovators, but Noah was one of the first. And to me, that's so inspiring, and it's also very convicting, because to know that people's lives, people's preservation, the earth's legacy, the earth's history was dependent on one man's decision to obey God and to trust him with an idea where something like that had never happened is mind-blowing to me. We're in a society where there are so many creative ideas, with AI, with what are other things that are like disrupting our world? I mean, AI is really a big thing right now, right? Like, crypto is also big. What else? There's so many things that are coming up, like robots and everything like that. Technology is advancing, but it is because somebody is willing to listen to the idea that's in the spiritual realm and actually activate it by taking action. To me, as a believer, not just a believer, as a daughter of God, as somebody that knows that Jesus is real and that has hope in him eternally, I know that he wants the church, people within him, to be the ones that are the actual creative disruptors and the faith innovators in the world, and not people that are just listening and waiting for an idea and take action that are not within that realm. But here's the catch. Anybody that gets the idea going is because they have found grace in the Lord with that idea. So if you have an idea, even if you're not a believer, if you have an idea, go for it. Because you're a person that most likely has a solution for somebody's preservation. Even me, I have so many ideas where they are solutions and they are an answer to somebody's preservation. I want everyone that's listening today to be encouraged by the story of Noah and to read it and to meditate on it, because even back then, the world was crazy. It says the world was full of violence and it was corrupt before God. That sounds very much like today. There are so many things that are happening in the world that are corrupt. There are so many violent things that are happening in the world that are very grieving to the Lord. And by his grace, we now have Jesus within us. We now have the ability to walk with the Lord, to seek him, and to find refuge in him. But we also have the ability to lean in him and listen to him for solutions here on earth that can solve so many problems and that can make people's lives so much better. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm hoping for like the solution to everything, because we know that the solution is Jesus himself. He is the solution. He is the antidote to anything that's happening in this world. But before he comes back, there are ways, there are ideas, there are things that are within us that he has whispered in our ear that can help somebody else. And not only that, that can help your family and preserve your family for generations to come. Noah is a prime example of this. He was attentive to the Lord. He found grace in the sight of the Lord. And not only that, but he was able to listen and to take every single instruction that was given to him. And not only that, but he was also willing to look crazy before other people in order to preserve his family and the better earth. Think about that. Think about that. My journey is still unfolding. My life is still unfolding, but I know that that's going to be part of my life testimony. I am the youngest girl in my family, and I have always been the one that wanted to follow the Lord and listen to the Lord and do everything because I love the Lord. I encountered him, or I encountered his presence when I was very young, and I was brought up in the church. I was curious about church since I was a little girl, and now to serve him is my greatest honor. I'm getting emotional. It truly is the greatest honor, because more than anything, I want to please the Father. Like, more than anything, I want to make sure that I do what my Father knows I can do. And I know he trusts me with so many things. He has trusted me even with my own life. At the age of 9, I remember, I'll share a small story about my journey. Wow, I did not intend to cry today. I don't ever want to cry on camera, but I just love the Lord. Oh, Jesus, help me. Okay. I'll share a little bit of my story. When I was 9 years old, my parents moved our family here to the States. And I thank God for that, because I know that it was my father's faith that preserved us. You see what I'm talking about? It's all about faith, being a faith walker, a faith innovator. It's not just about a big solution. It's just for your family. It's just for the better being of your children, the better and well-being of your wife, your sister, your brother, your friends. Your obedience is key to so many things. And I want you guys to understand that, like, your obedience to whatever God is whispering in your ear is so important. Because again, if my father had not came to the States the way that he did and sacrificed so much for my family, I would not be here. So I thank God for my dad, my pa. I love you, Dad. I miss him so much, but anyway, when I was younger, when we first came to the States, when my parents got their home, there's a church right behind their house. And I remember being maybe in the 6th grade or 5th, maybe. I'm not sure. But I remember being young, And I remember seeing a sign that said Vacation Bible School behind our house. And I was like, I want to go to that. Like, that sounds like fun. Like, I don't even know what that is, but let me go. And I would tell my mom, like, hey, like, I'm going. She was like, okay. And my mom knew to trust me. My mom knew to just let me do whatever. Now, she doesn't do this with anybody in the family. Like, there's like, no, you have to go with somebody else. But with me, she trusted me. There was something within me that she trusted. And I know it was God's grace upon my life that she trusted that I would be responsible. Imagine at the age of 10, that's crazy. Like, what? But anyways, I would go to the Vacation Bible School and I would learn about Jesus and I would learn about church. And I grew up going to church. I did in Mexico. We went to a Catholic church and my mom served in the house of God and I would go with her. I would help however I could. I remember being like an usher, helping collect like the offering. And it brings me to tears because, again, I didn't want to cry and I didn't even know that I was going to go in this direction. But if it's going to help somebody, then so be it. But I remember just serving and being in the house of God and not really understanding what I was doing. I was just doing it because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help. I wanted to be doing what my mom was doing. And then after we moved to the States, my parents didn't really start going to church anymore because it was further away. It wasn't as convenient. They were focused on working, providing a better life for us. But me, for some reason, it was still in me and I would just go to church. I would be curious about God, and that's been my life story. So, again, like, your obedience will impact your children. Your obedience will impact those around you. Your obedience will impact generations to come. Who knows what your obedience can do? Who knows what breakthrough your family will have if you obey the Lord's instruction? Can you think about that? Noah was so righteous in the eyes of God that God gave him an instruction that would preserve the entire earth, the next earth. It was through Noah's family that the earth was repopulated. It was through Noah's creative idea. It was through Noah's faith innovation that we are here today. Can you imagine that? Like, that's insane. So now thinking of in modern terms, whenever I see somebody of the faith that is doing and impacting things in the world, I don't judge them for that. That was a God-given idea. Who am I? Who are you to say that that wasn't God? Who are you? They are doing something that was in the spiritual realm that was captivated by their ear and acted upon when you could have had the solution. And you could have been the one that's been solving the issues that they're solving. But you're not, because you didn't obey. So the grace was passed. And now you're wondering why God isn't using you. Did you obey his instruction? Did you? I want to give flowers to every single creative innovator and every creative disruptor that is killing it in technology, that is doing amazing things in entertainment, that is challenging the status quo in government, that is doing amazing research in the medical field. I want to give you your flowers because you are a creative disruptor. You are a faith innovator that has heard an idea from God and that is trying to find solutions to better this world. Until Jesus comes back, we have work to do. So what are you doing? What ideas are you passing to somebody else that is not within the body of Christ that could be a solution to solve a problem here on earth? Listen, I don't care what your bank account looks like. I don't care what car you're driving. I don't care if you are starving. There is a divine God that is willing to give ideas and solutions to those that will hear him and obey him. Listen, I'm not the person that I'm going to be in the future. I am in the process of becoming that person. Just because I'm not there yet doesn't mean that I won't get there. I am one step away from becoming that person, and that can only happen by obedience. The same goes for you. If you know that you are called to be somebody that influences people, to be somebody that is in leadership roles, to be somebody that causes about change in this world, then you are a creative disruptor. You are a faith innovator. But what have you heard and what have you obeyed? It's time. It's time. We're about to end 2023 and step into 2024. Imagine what a force you will be if you start obeying the simple instructions that you have received or the simple ideas that you have gotten in your dreams, in your meditation time, even by just going on and on about your daily life. Make sure that you obey God. Because here's the thing. And somebody said it, somebody posted it on one of their reels. I don't remember what show or podcast it was, but I remember seeing it. I was like, wow, they're so right. Whenever you get an idea and you don't act upon it, somebody else will get the idea, will act upon it, and be successful because they obeyed what they heard. Where do you think ideas come from? You just think they're like floating in the air, like written here, here, here. It is God trying to build something here on earth. And only those that are willing to listen and obey will be the ones that benefit from it. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten ideas and ideas and ideas and ideas, and I just put them on a shelf, or I put them in the back burner and didn't act upon them. And months, years later, they become something. And I'm shocked, and I'm like, well, why did that happen? I should have acted upon it. I should have done something. God was like, I need this to happen on earth. Will you be willing to listen to me and to take a risk and go for it yourself? The choice is ours. The challenge for this week is to listen, to write down, and to start with step 1. And I feel like I keep repeating myself because I know that God is about to do something so great this next year through so many of us. But it will only happen to those that are willing to listen and that are willing to obey what He is instructing us to do. Remember, your preservation, your family's preservation, the world's preservation depends on one man, on one woman. Will you be that person? Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 5 of the Mount Fatima Podcast with your host, Fatima. Thank you for joining me today. Today was truly a roller coaster that I did not know I was going to go through, but I knew that God wanted me to share something a little more direct and a little more fueled, because I truly believe that we are entering into a season where a lot of the previous generation that has done great things on earth is getting ready to pass batons to people that are going to start new things, and not just that, but also get handed things in order to take it to the next level. I truly believe that. And in order for that to happen, the ones that will benefit from it are the ones that are preparing now and are being good stewards now, so that whenever God is looking for somebody that's faithful and that is willing and diligent, they know exactly who to pass the baton to. Are you preparing yourself? I'll see you guys in episode 6 of the Mount Fatima Podcast with your host, Fatima. Make sure that you subscribe, that you like this video, that you share it with somebody, and that you also listen to it on Spotify, that you follow, that you share it, and we'll see each other soon. God bless you.